This video is going to go over the Season 4 Reloaded patch notes, just to let you know what kind of changes are going to be taking place with today's update. If you enjoy weapon stat breakdowns and overall tips and tricks for Warzone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel. We do post extra content over there. So like I said, this video we're going to run through the patch notes really quickly. We want to give you all the information as quickly as possible without wasting too much time, and we want to focus on some of the more important things. So when it comes to the event, we've got a blueprint blitz, which is a bit hard to say, event happening where once you complete 2 regular contracts, a contraband contract will spawn, so you can complete that and then get some blueprints. So that's what that's all about. Now we've got the Payload game mode, which is basically 2 teams of 20 fighting over an objective, and then it's going to be armored vehicles and all that kind of stuff as well. So some of these things are just kind of what we usually get, so a new game mode and some new events and stuff like that. For the maps, then there's going to be new things regarding the red doors. I'm not really too fussed about all this kind of stuff. For general, there's new calling cards and emblems added, and the kill chain perk now increases the chance to obtain Warzone kill streaks from loot that spawns across Verdansk can be adjusted as follows. So new gulag loadouts, which is kind of common sense, that changes every season or every mid-season. The Sentry Gun kill streak can be found in red door rooms. Hopefully that gets removed eventually, because I do think it will be overpowered. The Specialist token is slightly more common in Battle Royale, so that can be handy because I do think the Specialist is pretty cool to have. Combat bow kill streak damage is being increased and now will down enemies with a direct hit. I was going to say this because the combat bow really isn't that powerful inside Warzone at the moment, especially against vehicles as well. So this is going to make it a little bit more powerful, especially against enemies that are on foot. Players will now drop their current equipment directly behind them when looting a loadout drop. That's just to make it a bit easier when picking up weapons and stuff, which is pretty cool. Vertical camera movement will no longer be locked when sliding down a slope. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've done this and it doesn't let you look down the way after you've slided down slopes. Dirt bike updates, wheelies, lean back on the dirt bike to initiate a wheelie. I was going to say that actually you couldn't do that in the game, and I feel like you should have been able to, but now you can. Now you can perform sharper turns on dirt bikes. But something that is really important here, actually, we're excited to share that we're planning to debut 2 new Warzone specific perks. So they're actually going to be adding new perks to the game. So finally, we're going to get some massive updates to the game. Alongside them, High Alert will also be receiving an update that allows you to hear dead silent footsteps, which is also really, really cool. So High Alert might be getting used way more often. And then until then, we may see a weapon make a long-awaited debut in Verdansk. So they're talking about the CX-9. So the next is all bug fixes. So there was an issue with the PS5 120Hz mode could not be activated whilst HDR was enabled, so they fixed that. Xbox One S, that should prevent players from joining matches, so they fixed that. There was fixing dev errors, so hopefully this is on PC. Additional collision issues of various elements across the map. There's always this every season, so they've tried to fix that. I feel like this maybe you do a bit more damage if the other players equipping armor plates. I'm not really too sure what they mean by this, but they fixed it anyway. Fixed an issue preventing players from saving custom mods with Shotgun Bravo. Same thing with Tac Rifle Charlie. Fixed an issue with older graphics cards displaying shadows incorrectly. That would be quite handy for people with older hardware. Fixed an issue with rebirth crates appearing when they should be closed. Oh yeah, I've seen this a lot in Rebirth. It's really annoying. Fixed an issue with the Ice Drake barrel. Fixed an issue allowing players to briefly use weapons after being downed if the gas mask animation was still active. Bounty Hunter target will be tracked after death. Fixed an issue allowing players to access out of bounds area in Downtown's tower. So there's obviously a lot of bug fixes here, so you can actually have a read through them just now whilst they're on screen, and I'll leave a link to the patch notes in the description as well. So they made some more changes to the dirt bike. So fix an issue where players couldn't exit the dirt bike if it got stuck. Fix an issue where passenger seat would not be able to melee other players. Fix an issue where picking up fallen dirt bike would not play a pickup animation. Fix an issue where detonating C4 on a dirt bike could kill players in your squad. So that's a weird one. I've never really seen this, to be fair. Fix an issue where the dirt bike could be positioned to prevent doors from being opened. Fix an issue where the helicopter blades could not kill players riding a dirt bike. I feel like this would be a bit overpowered for helicopters, but we'll need to wait and see. Fix an issue where the dirt bike could get stuck if navigated to be resting and on its underside. I don't really know what that means. Fix an issue where the kill feed icon for the dirt bike was the ATV. Fix an issue where the dirt bike minimap icon was larger than other vehicles. And fix an issue in Plunder where the player vision was partially blocked with bags of money. So with the UI, they're making fixes so that you can actually find recent players a lot easier, and that way you can actually report them when it comes to cheating or being toxic inside lobbies. They've changed some accessibility features as well. Now moving on to the weapon balancing, which is the more important stuff. So firstly, of course, we're getting a new SMG to the game. So this is the OTS-9, and we will be covering all the stats for this weapon later on today in weapon comparison videos. We've got the MACE melee weapon, and we probably won't talk about this weapon at all, to be completely honest. Now, following the changes, this is our first major step towards increasing the TTK inside Warzone. It's important to note that these weapon adjustments are not made in a vacuum. When evaluating individual changes, they may seem quite drastic, but moving on to the specific changes now. So the weapons that have been touched are all these here. So first of all, the Cold War AK. Now the headshot multiplier has been decreased from 1.62 to 1.5. Upper torso from 1.2 to 1. Now the only issue I have with this is that the Cold War AK has quite a bit of recoil. Now that it's going to have not as much damage as well, it's going to make this gun a really hard choice. So I don't really know why they touched the Cold War AK, especially for longer range anyway. The Modern Warfare AK, the damage for the upper torso has been decreased on this as well from 1.2 to 1.1. I don't really feel like a lot of people use this weapon, but a lot less people will be using it after this. The C58 is pretty overpowered, so I'm glad this one got a significant change here. So the upper headshot multiplier, has been reduced from 1.62 to 1.58. Upper torso from 1.2 to 1. Lower torso from 1.1 to 1. Maximum damage range has been decreased by 8%, which is probably not too important. And then the recoil has also been increased as well. So this is going to be a huge nerf to this gun. It's going to feel nothing the same as it did before. So the Amax has got another change, and the headshot multiplier has been increased from 1.5 to 1.55, which is actually the change they made last time. They actually decreased the headshot multiplier, but now they've increased it again. But in the upper torso multiplier, they have decreased from 1.1 to 1. So I feel like the Amax was in a good spot before this, but we'll just need to wait and see how this plans out. I feel like they did make too much of a change to the Amax, but we'll need to wait and see. Assault Rifle Bravo from Modern Warfare. I can't remember what gun this is exactly, to be completely honest. Headshot multiplier has been decreased from 2.05 to 1.62, and upper torso decreased from 1.2 to 1.1. The FARA, the maximum damage range has been decreased from 31 to 29, and the recoil has been increased on this gun. I feel like this is a good change to the FARA because this gun pretty much had zero recoil whatsoever. We then have the FFAR. So the FFAR headshot multiplier has been decreased from 1.5 to 1.4. Maximum damage range decreased from 27 to 25. Minimum damage range decreased from 25 to 23. Maximum damage range decreased by 20%. Neck multiplier increased from 1 to 1.2. I feel like the damage range decrease on the FFAR wasn't really necessary because no one really uses this for long range anyway. So it just kind of nerfs it a bit too much in my opinion, and I feel like with all these changes they should have decreased the recoil as well. Assault Rifle GRAU from Modern Warfare, this might be the SCAR, I'm not really 100% sure what gun this is again. So the upper torso multiplier decreased from 1.2 to 1.1. So the GRAU has actually got a minimum damage increase from 22 to 24. This is the buff that the GRAU's had for the first time in a long time, to be completely honest. Groza, the maximum damage has been decreased from 28 to 27. The maximum damage range has been decreased by 4.5%. Headshot multiplier decreased by 1.62 to 1.5. Upper torso decreased from 1.2 to 1.12. Lower torso multiplier decreased from 1.1 to 1, and recoil and pattern smoothed out a bit as well. So I'm glad they sorted out the recoil with the Groza, because it did have a tough recoil pattern to manage. Minimum damage on the Krig being increased from 25 to 26. I do feel like the Krig might be one of the better options now when it comes to long range rifles in Warzone, just because the recoil is still super low on this gun. But like I said, we'll just need to wait and see. The M13 from Modern Warfare, minimum damage has been increased from 19 to 20. Assault Rifle Charlie, the maximum damage has been decreased from 28 to 27. Minimum damage has been increased from 22 to 23. Odin, the upper torso multiplier has been decreased from 1.3 to 1.2. I don't feel like a lot of people actually use the Odin, so I don't really feel like this change was completely necessary. QBZ did need a massive buff to make this gun viable in Warzone, so minimum damage increased from 22 to 24, so that's good. Base movement speed reduced, thank god. Base ADS movement speed reduced, thank god. Upper torso multiplier increased, and lower torso multiplier increased as well, so that's a huge change to this gun. Oh, so they've changed the RAM as well. Maximum damage decreased from 28 to 26. I feel like this gun's going to be useless in Warzone now. The recoil is already hard to use as it is, and decreasing the damage on this gun doesn't really help it whatsoever. I do feel like it was already pretty balanced to begin with. XM4, maximum damage decreased from 32 to 30, minimum damage decreased from 28 to 27. ADS speed decreased slightly and recoil increased slightly. I don't feel like they needed to increase the recoil. It clearly wasn't as good as the Farah or the C58 from before, but maybe this is going to make it not the meta weapon, so we'll just need to wait and see. Now for LMGs, we've got the M60, which is a gun that I hate. So the maximum damage has been increased from 36 to 37. Headshot multipliers increased as well. This is making LMGs more viable, I think, in Warzone. MG34, this is a Modern Warfare weapon. Maximum damage is decreased from 31 to 29. Minimum damage has been decreased as well. Headshot multiplier has been decreased. Upper torso multiplier being decreased. MG82 LMG, the ADS on this has actually been decreased slightly to make it ADS slower. LMG Alpha, I'm not really too sure what gun this is for Modern Warfare, but the damage has been increased from 31 to 32. Maximum damage range has been decreased by 7%. Upper torso multiplier has been decreased. SA87 upper torso multiplier has been decreased from 1.2 to 1.1. LMG Alpha from Black Ops Cold War, I'm not even too sure what this is either. Maximum damage has decreased from 34 to 33. Upper torso multiplier decreased from 1.1 to 1. Now sniper rifles. The Swiss ADS animation has been updated and now shares a reticle with the ZRG 20mm. Submachine guns, AK-74U. Maximum damage has been decreased. Minimum damage has been decreased. Headshot multiplier has been decreased. Upper torso multiplier has been increased. And bullet velocity has been increased. When it comes to Submachine Gun Alpha from Modern Warfare, this might be the AUG, I'm not really too sure what gun this is. Minimum damage has been increased from 25 to 26. Headshot multiplier decreased from 1.62 to 1.47. Bullfrog, maximum damage has been decreased from 32 to 31. Headshot multiplier has been decreased from 1.62 to 1.5. Left arm multiplier and right arm multiplier? Left leg multiplier, what? Does arm and legs do different multipliers for the left arm and the right arm? I didn't know that was such a thing. Well, currently they are the same multiplier, but surprisingly, these might be different stats now. So a left arm might do more damage than a right arm, so that is super weird in this game. KSP headshot multipliers decreased. No one really uses that, let's be completely honest. LC10, maximum damage decreased from 30 to 27. Minimum damage decreased. Headshot multiplier decreased. Mac 10, the damage is being decreased from 24 to 23. Minimum damage decreased from 20 to 19. Some of these changes might not actually affect the overall TTK of the weapons, to be completely honest, just because they're only one damage profile away from what it was originally. So the TTK of the weapons might not change overall. Milano, recoil increased slightly. Maximum damage range decreased by 12%. Headshot multiplier decreased, damage decreased. Submachine Gun Alpha from Cold War, we have got a damage reduction again from 33 to 21, and a minimum damage decrease from 25 to 24. Nail gun, maximum damage decreased from 50 to 46. Headshot multipliers decreased, upper torso multiplier decreased. Maximum damage on submachine gun Echo from Modern Warfare decreased from 35 to 34. Minimum damage has been increased from 25 to 26. PPSH maximum damage decreased from 28 to 26. ISO minimum damage has been increased from 20 to 21 because this gun sucks. So anyone who told me that the ISO is a good gun, there's a reason why it's getting a buff. Submachine gun Delta in Modern Warfare, minimum damage increased from 25 to 26. Fennec, maximum damage decreased from 25 to 24, minimum damage decreased from 20 to 19. Tac rifles, Tac Rifle Charlie from Black Ops Cold War, which I think is the AUG. Headshot multiplier decreased. Headshot multiplier decreased on the Carve. Headshot multiplier decreased on the M16 as well. Whew, that was a lot of weapon changes. So that's pretty much every weapon has been changed with this new update. So we'll just need to wait and see how this plays out, because pretty much every single weapon has been changed. We will cover most of the major updates with the weapon updates later on today as well. Now we've got a new operator, new store stuff, and the overall file download is going to be 8.9 gigabytes. Other than that, that is pretty much everything. There was so many weapon changes in this update and so many bug fixes as well. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Click that link in the description to subscribe to our second channel, and thank you very much for watching.